Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to another segment of Hanging with the Boss Lady. I am your host, the Boss Lady herself, Cheryl Jones, aka that little old country girl. How are you doing on this beautiful Friday morning? I pray that you all are doing well. And as for me, I am blessed and highly favored and doing absolutely marvelous, darling. Thank you so much for asking. Boy, do I have a wonderful segment in store for you today, and I'm so glad you're here to join me. Get ready, because here we go. Here we go, my friends. I am so delighted to have you here with me tonight to talk about an acronym that I ran across the other day that struck me as something that is weird. When I saw it, I said, what in the world can that mean? So I decided to look into it, and the acronym is F.O.G.O. F.O.G.O, fear of getting older. That's right, fear of getting older. So this is the topic that I want to talk to you tonight, my friends. And I'm talking to you from the viewpoint of an older person. You know, we live in such a materialistic world that many people look at you and judge you on so many different levels. And one of those levels is age. Ageism is a real thing. A lot of times you get denied, you get judged, you get criticized, you get left out of many things simply because of your age. So many people have F.O.G.O not so much of themselves, fear of them being older, but it's like they're afraid of older people. Now, why in the world would someone want to be afraid of an older person? An older person who is not doing anything to harm, offend, or take anything from you, but simply because they are older. And sadly, my friend, that's the type of world we live in, that because we are older, we are judged. So I'm going to talk to you about this F.O.G.O thing, fear of getting older. I'm going to start with reading a scripture about being older, okay? Proverbs 20 and 29, it says, the glory of young men is their strength, and the beauty of old men is the gray head. Now, of course, when it says men, it's talking about mankind. So we're saying that the glory of young men is their strength. And for those of us that are older, we remember when we were younger. You remember how we always wanted to show off in front of everybody. Oh, I can do this, I can do that, especially the young men. Oh, I can do this, I can pick it up, I'm strong. Oh, I can carry that for you, I can do that. Everybody wants to flex their muscles and appear to be this really strong person. And, the ladies, of course, we would just show off because, I can. And look at me, I'm virile, I'm young, I'm gorgeous, I'm quote unquote hot. So, these are the things we would look at. But this is how the young people, show themselves off, by their strength. And the Bible says, and the beauty of old men is the gray head. Now, when a lot of the young people and the younger generation look at people with gray hair, automatically they say, oh, they're old. We don't want an old person. Excuse me, we are older. That does not mean that we are incapable of doing things. So this fear of getting older, I have discovered from my own viewpoint, is that it's not something that older people have. it's what other people have regarding us. Because we live in a materialistic world, a lot of times they are afraid to indulge in anything with us because they say, oh no, they're old. That they can't do this, they can't do that. We might be old, but we are able. Now, let me tell you how I feel about the age thing. First of all, I want to say I am a proud member of the senior club. I am 66 years old, and I am so grateful that I still have breath coming in and out of my body. I'm alive. So that's a beautiful thing. And that's not something to be ashamed of. So we have to just remember that we have been blessed with the opportunity to continue to be alive. So the people who look at us and try to hold it against us that we are older, that sounds like a them problem and not a us problem. Because, listen, being older means that we have persevered. Being older means that we have survived. We are still living. We have overcome. And trust and believe. When I say older, I'm talking about those of us that are like in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and we have a story to tell. We can sit down and talk about the situations and the circumstances that we have witnessed, in our lifetime, and what we have heard and seen. And it's not all good stuff. And it's mesmerizing. It will have you actually sitting, on the edge of your seat, listening, if you were to hear some of the stories of the things that people have encountered in their lifetime. It's a beautiful thing. So there should be no fear of getting old. There should only be praise and gratefulness that we are still alive. Because I'm sure many people have faced circumstances that could have taken their life, but through the mercy and the grace of God, they are still here. So it's a beautiful thing. So as I think about this F.O.G.O, fear of getting older, it's something that people look at from a materialistic, selfish point of view, because they don't take into account the reality that one day, if God allows them to keep breathing in and out day after day, they themselves are going to be older. And they would not want someone to tell them that they can't do anything because they're too old. Now listen, for those of us who are older, we feel fine. Those of us who do not have any kind of debilitating condition where we can't get up, just because we're older, we can move around and do just fine. We look out of our eyes and the world and everything seems fine. Sometimes we don't even know that we're older until we pass a mirror and we're like, oh, right. I'm older. But you don't really feel it. When you wake up, you get up, you stretch, you put your legs on the other side, on the side of the bed, and you stretch and everything. And for those of us, even if you're older, you don't even think about it. And just because you're older does not mean that all of a sudden you lose all of these abilities. God forbid. But there are some young people who have sicknesses, illnesses that prevent them from putting their legs over the side of the bed. But when you wake up in the morning and you are in your 60s and 70s and 80s, and sometimes you move a little slower, but if your hand can reach out and grab the brush and brush your own hair, if you can take that toothbrush and brush your own teeth, if you can go to the bathroom on your own, if you can take a shower by yourself unaided, if you can walk to your kitchen and you can fix yourself something to drink or fix yourself some breakfast, that's a beautiful thing. And just because you are in the senior society does not mean that these things have been taken away from you. That's something that we are to be grateful for. So I would say that this F.O.G.O thing, fear of getting old, is not something that's coming from us. It's coming from them. And like I said before, that's a them problem. We should not let someone's fear of getting old stop us from living our best life every single day of our life. And we have to remember that even though we have gotten older, things will change, and we don't have to try to prove anything to anybody to show that, look, I can show you, I can do what I did when I was 20. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You are not 20. If you're 60, don't try to do what a 20-year-old does. Okay? Embrace your aging with grace and humility and pride, and be grateful to God, that He has allowed you to continue to live these years. Now, like I said, we have a story to tell. We have encountered many things, and because we are able to still be here, we should appreciate that. We should appreciate it and live according to what our age has us to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you admit, no, that's too much for me, I'm gonna let y'all go do that. There's nothing wrong with that. So what we have to do is be smart, be wise with it, because it's a beautiful thing. You don't want to do anything that's going to cause you to no longer be here because you were trying to prove something to anyone. And that's one of the beauty of aging. You stop wanting to prove to people anything. Sadly, when you look around at a lot of the young people today, they're always in competition with each other. Instead of, supporting and just going ahead doing what they can do. You see someone looking, you want to try, oh, they think they can do that. Oh, I can do that too. And you will hurt yourself trying to prove to someone what you can do instead of just doing your absolute best. So what I want to share with you today, I want to share to you some of the pros and cons of getting older. It's wonderful that we can, look at it from that vantage point, okay? And not let other people, try to manipulate us and into thinking that we have to prove something to them. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons of getting older. First of all, like I said, remember, it's a beautiful thing to grow older because you're alive. Now, one of the things that I have noticed that I want you to think about and keep this in your mind, seniors are some of the happiest people in the world. Yeah, we're happier because we don't let a lot of stuff bother us anymore. The things that we used to hold on to and worry about, we don't try to please anybody. We're not going to be trying to worry about, oh, they're not going to like me if I say this here. They're not going to be my friend. When you reach that senior age, you're like, you know what? If they don't want to talk to me, fine. I'll be okay. I'll live. I'll survive. We do get that attitude where all the things that we thought was so important, we realized that it really wasn't. And we were really stressing ourselves out because we were so concerned about what other people thought and what other people was doing. And now, once we realize that that is not the issue, that it is not that deep, all of a sudden, we're fine. You don't want to wear clothes because, what are they going to think about how I look? Once you embrace your age and you embrace how you are, you say, well, you know what? This is me. This is I am. Take it or leave it. And you get this air of freedom about you that is priceless. trust me. There was a time that I can remember that I would not go outside the house without makeup. Oh, I just had to be dolled up. It's just a female thing. We just always want to look our absolute prettiest all the time. And we still want to look good. But there are many days that as long as my face is clean and my hair is combed in a good style, or I could just put on a hat, I'm fine. And I look at it like, I'm not trying to attract anybody. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm going to take care of what I got to do, and I'm coming back home, so it's fine. Listen, when you reach that beautiful senior age where you are satisfied with yourself and it does not really matter what other people think, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And let me tell you, when you have lived a certain time, I say often, I'm 66, and I can remember 50 years ago when I was 16. When I was 16, I can remember the things that I did at 16. I remember when I got my first summer job, and I lived in New York, and we worked and got our first paycheck for the summer program at the Armory on Bedford Avenue and Washington and Atlantic Avenue, on the corner of Bedford and Atlanta, that giant armory. And I believe it's still there today. And we would all lined up. Oh my gosh, so many young people come from everywhere, because that was the place to come for that area. So young people from oh my gosh, lines and lines and lines, and it was just pure chaos inside. But we managed to find where we were supposed to be, and we found where we got that check. And I can remember when I got that first check, I remember the first pair of heels that I bought. I can still see in my mind the color because the heels matched my dress. 16 years old. And here I am 50 years later, I still remember all of that. So trust me, for the people who look at us and have fear of growing old, it's them who looks at us as a threat. We're not threatening anyone. We have been blessed to still be alive. And that's something to be grateful for, not to be afraid of. It's something to be embraced and celebrated, and above all, respected. So when we get there, we're happy people. We're happy people because we look back at all those wonderful memories and stuff that we had, and we relish in it. And we thank God that we're still standing today. So one of the first things, the first pros of aging is that we're happy. We're happy people. And even though you may look at us as we are ancient relics and the things that we do that you just don't understand, like one of my grandchildren, if they see me looking at a black and white movie, they're like, really, Grandma? Black and white? Seriously? I said, listen, leave me alone. I'm enjoying it. Don't bother me. Because we can look at it and remember in a time where entertainment from television was not always who was having sex with this one or murdering that one, and blood and gore and guts and stalking and screaming and terror. No, it wasn't all of that. We would look at movies that had actually moral value with it. So we can look back at those times and we are very nostalgic about it. And it just puts a good feeling in us. And me, I'm glad to see where I came from. Because, listen, those of us that are proud members of the senior club today can say we are proud of where we came from, because that helped shape us into the wonderful people that we are now. So it's a beautiful thing. So don't let other people's insecurity about our age stop us. Don't let it stop you, my friend. Be proud. Hold your head up and show your senior card. Yes, I'm still here and I'm proud to be. And the second pro about being a senior is grandchildren. Ah, those beautiful, beautiful little gems that run around with their little chubby feet and learning their first words and just all over the place. And we just shower love on them and everything, and do all that we can. And our children stand back, you know, with a funny eye, like, where was this person when we were growing up? You know what that person was when you were growing up? We were going to work, coming home, making sure the laundry was done, making sure food was done, making sure you did your homework, making sure the house is clean, making sure we got to church on time. When we got back home, make sure that you get to bed and laid your clothes out for the next day, getting through traffic, making sure that we do everything that we could do at work because we got to get that paycheck, and to come home and get, just a couple of hours sleep, and making sure that we listen to you and watch you and see any signs of you having any problem that you need to talk to us about. That's where that person was when you were younger. And when you were 8 and we were doing all this running around trying to make sure that you had a roof over your head, paying the bills, food on the table, clothes on your back, thanking God every day, that we survived. And sometimes we look back now, we're saying, I don't even know how we survived, but because we're still here. And then you wake up one day and they're 18 and you're like, where did time go? But now that we are older and we're retired, for those of us that have jobs that you can retire from, or you just, you have that thing to fall back on, which is called a pension, where you can enjoy life and you don't have to go and punch a clock. Now you have all the time in the world to love on these beautiful extensions of your children. Isn't it beautiful that you can just love on them the way you wished you could with your children, but for the mercy and grace of God, which you're so grateful for, they still turned out okay. So that's another pro, that you can enjoy the beauty of your grandchildren. And here's another pro. You have more time to spend with loved ones. You can go and do whatever it is that you want to do. You can just enjoy yourself, enjoy life. You don't have to punch the clock. You just feel free. You don't have to worry about, being anywhere, anytime. You come when you please and you go when you please. And you don't have to, okay, we're going to be there, make sure you be there. And you get up and you say, okay, I'm coming, but I'm not rushing. When I get there, and when you walk in the door, we was waiting for you. We started. So, well, it's okay. Go ahead. I'm fine. You don't have to rush around like a mad person. Why? Because when you reach that beautiful senior age, you don't have to impress anybody anymore. Of course, you respectfully, if you're going to go to a function that's at a certain time, but your loved ones, you're going to, yeah, I'm coming over there. I'll be there. I will be there. Y'all go ahead. Do what you're going to do. I'll be there. And you don't have to rush. And you know what they say? They accept it. They say, she ain't gonna rush. She'll be here when she get here. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So this here F.O.G.O, fear of getting old, like I said, it's a them thing. Because we're not fearing it. We are embracing it. And if you are letting other people's insecurity shape your thoughts of growing older, don't. Embrace the fact that you are older and you are still alive. And if they have any problems with the way you are handling your life, especially those that are younger and they feel like, you're just out of touch, you should do this here, I'm going to tell you to say to them the phrase that my mother always said to us: just keep on living. Just keep on living. And for those that keep on living, they will realize one day that through the mercy and the grace of God, they themselves will be the older people. And they're going to want to be respected and cared for, and thought kindly of. So just tell them, just keep on living. And you just keep on doing what you do. And the last pro is we still have opportunity to pursue our dreams. Just because we're older doesn't mean that we have to take all of our dreams and put it up on the shelf. The things that we want to do, we can travel. We can go and shop. We can go and just enjoy ourselves. Have a good time. We don't have to punch the clock. We have done our part, and now it's time for us to just enjoy our life. And enjoying your life as a senior is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm having a marvelous time. I'm doing exactly what I want to do, and I love it. Should I be doing more? If I want to. And if anybody is not satisfied with what I'm doing, it's okay. They'll get over it. Because as long as God is pleased with my life, I'm giving him glory and praise. I'm not sitting around with my face all long, moaning and complaining. And even though I can't keep up with people like I used to, I'm not supposed to. I'm 66, not 16. With time comes change. And you just have to accept the change gracefully and just be grateful that you are still alive. And now I'm going to talk to you about some of the cons of aging. Okay? Remember this, it's very important. Being older comes at a high cost. There's a lot of things that we can take care of at a younger age that's going to require a little bit more money at an older age, particularly healthcare. Okay, sometimes you cannot live on your own, so you have to get live in a place, assisted living for a place for the elderly, and that costs money. So what we have to do is we have to think smart now. For those of you that are not elderly, think smart now. Start planning for the things that may come up in the future, because we just never know from one day to the next how things can change. So you want to be smart, and you want to look ahead, and you want to plan, because you want your senior years to be comfortable. You want to be happy. You don't want to always have stress because you didn't plan for something that happened that you have no control of. So since we know that as we get older, costs may come up, let's prepare for that, okay? And another thing is to beware of safety concerns. Because we are seniors, we are more fragile, and we're easy targets. So a lot of times people look at the fact that we are older and they want to take advantage of us and take from us. So when you do go about and do things, it's best to have a buddy. It's best to go in the daylight hours where it's well populated. Don't go places where you are walking alone. When you were younger and you had this bravado about you, nobody gonna mess with me. You better not mess with me. We're older now, so we have to take care, because unfortunately we live in a world where people take advantage of those that are older and easy prey. So we have to be careful for that thing, okay? And then comes the third thing, maintaining your property. If you live alone, you have sometimes to get help to do the things that you do. And I'm not talking about, helping you to walk, helping you to move about. Sometimes you might need someone to come in to help do the mopping for you, sweep the floor, because that can be kind of strenuous if you have certain health conditions. There are some who can very well just go ahead on and do it. For those that can, kudos to you. Myself, I'm a 66-year-old with challenges. So I do need to have someone to come in, and I do have someone that will do my floors for me. I do have help to come in to lift the laundry for me, to do the things that require lifting and moving around, but thank God for his mercy and his blessings, I can comb my own hair. I can take a shower on myself. I can, pick up my own clothes. I can make up my own bed, but I just can't lift and carry and push things around. So for those of us sometimes that need assistance, we have to look out for that. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help if you need it. And again, that is not a reason to fear getting old. It is just a fact of life. that as we live, we get older, and sometimes we might need help. And there's nothing wrong with needing help. And the last thing I want to talk about, a con of getting older, is sometimes when you get older and you get away from that active crowd you used to be in, you don't socialize and stuff like you used to, you don't go out, you stay home, and you start to get lonely. And sadly, you feel like you're forgotten, like you're left out. We live in the beautiful age of social media. And that means we never have to feel like we are out of touch. You can always text, video chat, call someone, a FaceTime. There's so many different ways that you can just pick up and look at who you're talking to. Easy breezy. I talked to my sister in New York. I'm in North Carolina. I talked to her FaceTime plenty of times. And we just sit and laugh and talk. And, once that's over, I'm getting ready to go get something to eat, or I'm getting ready to go to bed. And you don't feel lonely anymore. So if you are feeling left out and lonely, pick up the phone, text somebody, call somebody, video chat with somebody. Trust me, not only will it make you feel better, they may have been feeling kind of isolated and left alone too. And you will have brightened up your day and theirs. So, this F.O.G.O, fear of getting old, don't let it be something that you carry around on your shoulders that makes you feel like you should just hang up life and just stop breathing. No, do not think that way. As long as God continue to give you breath in your body, you keep breathing, keep living, enjoy your life. And if someone has to have a problem with it, if someone, criticizes, critiques, or judges you or anything, or isolates you or pushes you away because of your age, that's a them problem. That's not your problem. Because the things that are for you will be for you as long as you give God the glory and the praise. The only person you have to please is Him. And He has continued to give you life, so He still has a use for you. And when He's ready to bring you home, He will. But since you're here, enjoy your life. Don't have a fear of growing old. Celebrate your life every second of every day. Celebrate being alive. And I hope that you did enjoy this podcast. And if you did, please share it with someone. Hit the like button and leave a comment. I would so love to hear from you. And I'm going to let you get back to the remainder of your day. And until we meet again, may the Lord God bless you real good. Boss Lady out.